The hangar was quiet now, but the echoes of battle still lingered. Broken panels and twisted metal lay scattered across the floor, and faint sparks flickered from exposed wires. Outside, the stars burned cold and distant, but inside, the silence was heavy. In the shadow of a massive cargo crate, a small dragon baby trembled. Its scales shimmered faintly in the dim light, a soft mix of green and gold, but fear made it press itself against the cold metal floor. It had never been in a place like this before. Humans, it had been told, were cruel and dangerous. It expected to be caught, beaten, or worse. Every creak of the hangar roof, every whir of machinery made it flinch. The dragon's tiny claws scraped the floor as it pressed closer to the crate. Its large eyes scanned every movement, alert to the smallest threat. Its mother had been taken by humans months ago, and stories of human cruelty had followed it ever since. Yet this hangar felt different. It was massive and empty, and no humans had appeared yet. Still, fear rooted it to the floor. Could not trust silence. A soft thud echoed from the other side of the hangar. The dragon froze. Its small heart pounded in its chest, a rapid drumbeat that made its entire body shake. The thud repeated, followed by the hiss of hydraulics. Metal doors groaned as they moved, opening wider than the dragon could imagine. Through the shadows, a pair of human boots appeared, heavy and deliberate. The dragon flattened itself, wings pressed tight against its back. It could hear voices, but they were calm, not yelling. Strange. Humans were supposed to shout when they found prey. The boots came closer, and a shadow passed over the crate. The dragon's eyes widened, expecting claws, nets, or worse. It tensed, ready to strike or flee. But nothing happened. No net fell. No weapon appeared. The human merely knelt, scanning the area slowly. Its movements were careful, almost gentle, as if it did not want to scare what hid in the shadows. The dragon did not understand. Every instinct told it to attack, to run, to hide deeper. But its legs refused to move. The human shifted slightly and placed a small container on the floor near the crate. A faint smell drifted toward the dragon, something warm and unfamiliar. It sniffed cautiously. Food. Its stomach rumbled. It had not eaten since escaping the wreckage. Fear warred with hunger, and curiosity finally edged out terror. Slowly, it inched forward, its tiny claws scraping the floor. It peeked around the crate, keeping its body low. The human did not move. It watched, still calm. The dragon sniffed again and realized the container held something soft, small, and safe. Without thinking, it darted forward, grabbed a morsel, and tasted it. Sweet. Warm. Its eyes widened. Nothing attacked. No hands tried to grab it. The human remained still, silent, watching from a short distance. Confused, the dragon took another bite. It was still wary, but the fear that had held it frozen began to ease little by little. The hangar was huge, stretching far into darkness. Machines hummed faintly and lights flickered overhead, casting long shadows. The dragon moved carefully, exploring around the crate, keeping an eye on the human. Its wings twitched nervously. What kind of creatures were these humans? In every story it had heard, humans were hunters, cruel and impatient. But this one was patient. It did not shout. It did not grab. It only watched. The dragon's curiosity grew stronger than its fear. It stepped out into the light a little more, sniffing the air, testing its surroundings. The human made no sudden moves. A small smile appeared on its face, though the dragon could not see it clearly. Instead, it sensed calm, safety, and a strange warmth in the presence of this human. It was the first time it had ever felt this way around humans. Its small heart beat faster, not from fear but from surprise. Could humans be kind? A soft noise came from the hangar's far end, a crate shifting slightly, possibly disturbed by the earlier battle. The dragon froze again. Its muscles tensed, wings fluttering lightly. But the human stood slowly, a gentle hand raised, not in attack but in caution. It moved toward the sound, careful and steady, checking each corner. The dragon watched and learned. These humans did not rush. They did not attack first. They observed. They waited. It was strange, but the dragon felt safe enough to remain still, hidden, yet curious. Hours passed in small movements and silent observation. The dragon found more food, drinking water left in small containers. It even stepped closer to the human, tilting its head in curiosity. The human spoke softly at times, words the dragon could not understand, but their tone was soothing, gentle. The dragon felt a faint warmth it had never known. Hunger and fear were still present, but now there was something else, hope. Maybe, just maybe, not all humans were cruel. Night, or at least the human version of night, fell in the hangar. Lights dimmed, machines hummed quietly, and the dragon curled itself in the corner, tired but safe. For the first time in its life, it slept without fear of immediate death. Outside, the stars continued to shine, indifferent to the small life inside the cold steel hangar. But inside something new began, a fragile trust. The dragon did not yet know the humans fully, nor did it know that their kindness would soon face challenges far greater than a quiet hangar. But for now the first step had been taken. Fear still lingered, but it was no longer the only feeling. The small dragon had found a place where maybe, just maybe, kindness lived. The hangar remained quiet, but now it felt warmer, less empty. The dragon baby had curled up behind a crate, but its eyes did not close. It watched the humans move slowly, almost as if they were afraid to startle it. The creature had never seen behavior like this. Every human it had heard about, every story its mother had whispered before disappearing, had been about hunters, about people who took what they wanted with no care. But these humans moved gently, and it confused the dragon. A human engineer walked near the crates, carefully examining the floor. His boots made soft thuds, but he paused often, listening, looking around, making sure nothing was frightened. The dragon's heart beat fast. Every time a footstep drew near, it pressed itself tighter to the ground. Its wings trembled, ready to fly, but it did not. It wanted to understand. It wanted to see why these humans did not attack. The engineer paused at a broken panel and crouched low. He reached into a small tool belt, pulling out a container. The dragon watched from the shadows. Food. Warm, soft, smelling of something sweet and unfamiliar. The dragon hesitated. It had not eaten properly for days. Hunger pressed at its tiny stomach, yet fear held it back. Slowly, with careful steps, it crept closer. The human did not move. He only waited. The dragon sniffed the food. It was strange and safe. Slowly it took a small bite. The warmth and taste made it blink in surprise. Nothing happened. No attack. No hands grabbed it. The human only watched, calm, with no hurry or threat. The dragon took another bite, then another. Curiosity started to push away fear. The dragon had never felt anything like this. Humans could be gentle. Over the next hours, the humans moved carefully through the hangar. They repaired broken panels, patched wires, and cleaned debris. All the while, they kept an eye on the shadows. Whenever they approached where the dragon hid, they slowed, paused, and spoke softly. The dragon could not understand their words, but the tone was soothing. The dragon began to realize that humans could be patient, and maybe, just maybe, they were not always dangerous. The dragon began to explore more, keeping low to the floor. It sniffed at the containers the humans had left, tasting small bits of food and sipping water. Each time it stepped closer, the humans did not move quickly. They did not raise their hands. One human, a young woman with careful movements, even sat on the floor a few meters away and did not look at the dragon directly. She just breathed slowly, making the dragon feel it was safe to stay. Curiosity overcame fear. The dragon peeked out from behind the crate, its head moving slowly, observing the humans as they worked. Machines hummed in the background and lights flickered gently above. The dragon noticed every human movement. They spoke to each other quietly, pointing at broken panels, handing tools with careful gestures. No one shouted. No one pointed at it. No one tried to trap it. The dragon began to step out a little more. Its wings stretched slightly, muscles tense but ready. Every step was cautious. Every sound made it pause. But the humans continued to move gently, almost as if they were dancing around it. Sometimes they placed water bowls closer to where it hid, without reaching for it. The dragon learned quickly. They were not trying to harm it. They were not hunters. They were protectors, at least for now. A small crate shifted, making a loud creak. The dragon froze. Its eyes widened. It expected immediate danger. The humans froze too, but they did not attack. Instead they waited. A hand reached down slowly to steady the crate without touching the dragon. The dragon realized it had nothing to fear from this movement. Slowly it inched forward again. Curiosity and trust began to grow inside its small chest. Hours passed and the dragon became braver. It ate more, drank water, and even moved around the human work area. The humans continued to act carefully. They repaired broken machinery, adjusted lights, and cleared sharp metal pieces from the floor. Every action was gentle, deliberate. The dragon began to understand that not all humans were cruel. Some could be kind. Some could be careful, protective, and patient. By the end of the human shift, the dragon had moved closer than ever. It perched on a low crate, watching the humans work. Its eyes were wide, curious, and a little hopeful. For the first time, it felt that maybe it did not need to run. Maybe it could stay in this hangar and be safe. The humans did not chase it away. They did not shout or threaten. They continued their work, always aware, always careful. The dragon curled up again as the lights dimmed for the human rest period. Its small heart still beat fast, but fear was less. Hunger was satisfied. It was not yet completely safe, not yet fully trusting, but the first seeds of trust had been planted. Outside the hangar, the stars continued to shine cold and distant, but inside, warmth began to grow. A fragile connection had begun between a tiny dragon and humans who moved gently. And the dragon, for the first time in its life, felt that maybe humans could be different. The dragon baby had spent several days in the hangar, hiding, watching, and learning. It had eaten the food left by the humans and drank from the bowls of water carefully placed near its hiding spots. Slowly, its fear began to mix with something it had never felt before: curiosity. The humans moved around the hangar with a quiet patience, repairing broken machines, adjusting lights, and clearing debris, always careful not to startle the small creature. At first, the dragon only observed. It crouched low, wings pressed tightly against its body, eyes wide and alert. But over time, it began to venture further from the shadows. It explored small corners of the hangar, sniffing metal floors and crates, testing the air and listening to the humans' soft voices. It noticed that they never shouted or waved their hands aggressively. They did not chase it or try to grab it. Instead, they paused when it moved, gave it space, and continued their work calmly. One human, a tall engineer with careful movements, often sat on the floor near a quiet corner of the hangar. He did not try to touch the dragon, did not reach for it or speak loudly. He only sat, back straight, eyes calm, breathing slowly. At first, the dragon did not understand. Why would a human sit so still and do nothing? But slowly it began to see the meaning. He was showing that he could be trusted. The dragon's tiny heart beat faster. Curiosity mixed with caution, and the creature crept a little closer each day, watching him. The hangar had become a place of quiet routine. Food appeared each day, clean water was always available, and warmth filled the corners where the dragon rested. Machines hummed softly, lights flickered gently, and humans moved with steady hands. The dragon began to recognize the humans' movements. It learned when they were near and when it could safely step out into the light. Fear was still present, but it no longer ruled every thought. The dragon was learning that trust could exist without words. One evening, as the hangar lights dimmed, the dragon ventured further than ever before. It climbed onto a low crate, small claws scraping lightly against metal. It watched the humans work, observing every careful step. They did not startle or threaten it. Instead, they adjusted panels, cleared sharp edges, and continued their repairs. One of them glanced at the dragon briefly and smiled softly, but did not move closer. The gesture, small and calm, made the dragon's heart flutter. It was safe. The dragon's curiosity grew stronger. It began to mimic small movements it had observed, tilting its head, stretching its wings slightly, even tapping its claws on the floor softly. The humans noticed these gestures and did not react with fear or anger. They moved gently, giving the dragon space to explore. Slowly, a bond began to form, not through words but through observation and patience. The dragon started to feel that perhaps humans could be kind, and that maybe, just maybe, this hangar could be a home. One morning, a small alarm sounded in the hangar. Machines shifted and lights flickered. The dragon froze, expecting danger. But the humans only moved carefully, checking panels and machinery, making sure the dragon was not hurt. They did not rush or shout. They moved slowly and deliberately, reassuring the creature without words. The dragon felt a strange warmth in its chest. The humans were not just protecting themselves, they were protecting it. It began to understand that trust could be earned through actions, not only words. The dragon started to follow small human routines. It approached food and water without hesitation. It explored sections of the hangar that had previously seemed too dangerous. It learned to recognize the humans' patterns, which corners they repaired first, how they moved quietly around machinery, and when it was safe to rest near them. It even began to rest in places visible to the humans, showing its trust by not hiding entirely. The humans did not disturb it. They only continued their careful work, giving the dragon freedom without danger. Over time, the dragon's small movements became less timid. It played with tiny scraps of metal or soft tools, tapping and nudging them while the humans worked nearby. They watched quietly, allowing the dragon to explore safely. Sometimes one of them would leave a small, soft object closer to it, almost like a gift. The dragon sniffed it, pawed at it, and learned that humans could offer kindness freely, without expecting fear or aggression in return. By the end of the week, the dragon had changed. It still had moments of fear, especially when a loud clang or distant alarm echoed through the hangar. But it had also learned patience, observation and calm. The humans had shown without speaking that they could be trusted. The dragon realized that not all humans were hunters or cruel creatures. Some were gentle, patient and capable of great kindness. The hangar, once a cold, empty place of fear and shadows, now held a fragile peace. The dragon curled in a quiet corner, wings relaxed, eyes bright with awareness. Hunger was satisfied. Fear was present but controlled. Curiosity and trust now guided its movements. It had learned something powerful. Trust could exist without words and kindness could be shown through simple, careful actions. Outside, the stars continued to shine, distant and cold. Inside, the hangar held warmth, safety, and a quiet connection between humans and a small dragon baby. The bond was fragile yet real. For the first time in its life, the dragon felt that it could belong somewhere. It had not yet fully understood humans, nor had it explored the limits of their patience and care, but it had taken the first steps. Trust had begun to grow, and with it, a hope that the world might be kinder than it had ever imagined. The hangar had grown calm over the past week, with the dragon baby slowly learning to trust the humans. It ate without fear, explored small corners and even let the humans move near it while they worked. But that fragile peace was about to change. A sharp alarm suddenly rang through the hangar. Red lights flashed, casting long shadows across the floor. The dragon froze, wings tensing, ready to hide or flee. Humans moved quickly but carefully, checking the source of the alarm without panicking. A loud voice crackled over the hangar intercom. "Surrender the dragon. It is a dangerous specimen. Compliance will save your lives." The dragon tilted its head, confused. It had not yet seen other humans outside the hangar, but it felt the fear in the voices around it. The humans inside did not shout or panic. Instead, they exchanged quiet words and moved deliberately toward the control panels. They were planning, preparing but not running. The dragon watched from behind a crate as the humans activated defensive shields and reinforced doors. Their calm movements showed a determination the dragon had never seen before. They were willing to face danger, not run from it. A strange feeling grew in the dragon's chest. The humans had not harmed it, and now they were ready to risk everything to protect it. For the first time, it realized that these creatures were capable of something powerful. Courage mixed with care. The intercom crackled again. "Your compliance is required. Release the dragon or face consequences." The dragon could hear the tension in the voices outside, the threat in the words. It shivered but stayed low, watching the humans' calm preparation. They did not cower. They did not shout back. They moved quietly, setting up shields and emergency defenses, ensuring the dragon had space to move safely. The dragon began to understand something new. These humans valued life, even the life of a creature others feared. As the alien threat approached, the hangar doors slowly opened from the outside. Shining ships hovered at the edge of the hangar bay, their lights piercing through the darkness. The dragon's heart pounded. It had never seen such power before. The humans inside did not panic. They stood firm, small figures against the massive, threatening presence outside. The dragon could feel their fear, yes, but also their resolve. They would not give it up. They would protect it. The dragon realized it had a choice. It could run, hide deeper, and avoid the danger, or it could trust these humans completely and stay with them. Its tiny wings twitched nervously. Fear pressed at it like never before, but it remembered the past days. The food left gently, the soft voices, the calm movements, the patient waiting. It remembered the warmth it had felt, the quiet safety, the bond growing between it and these humans. Slowly, it stepped from behind the crate, claws scraping softly against the metal floor. Its eyes were wide, bright with fear and hope. The humans watched without moving aggressively. One stepped forward slightly, hand open in a gesture of reassurance. The dragon hesitated, then took another step. It could feel the energy of the approaching alien ships, the threat they carried, yet it stayed. Trust had grown strong enough to overcome fear. The humans activated more defensive shields. Lights glowed across the hangar, energy flowing into barriers that would protect them all. The dragon followed quietly, staying close to the humans. It realized that it was part of this effort now, not as a weapon but as someone they cared for. The humans were not only defending themselves, they were defending it. And in that moment the dragon decided it would not hide anymore. It would face the danger with them whatever the cost. The alien ships began to move closer, scanning for the dragon. Laser sensors swept across the hangar, and the dragon felt the cold threat in the air. The humans stood firm, hands ready at control panels, eyes calm and focused. They had calculated every movement, anticipating danger without panic. The dragon's tiny body shivered, but it stayed. It realized that fear could be met with courage and danger could be faced with care. One human crouched near the dragon, speaking softly in words it could not understand, but the tone was gentle and reassuring. The dragon's trust grew stronger. It could sense the human's determination and knew that they would not abandon it. Its claws dug slightly into the metal floor as it prepared to move alongside them. For the first time, it felt that it was not alone. The red lights of the hangar flashed as the alien ships scanned again, but the humans' shields held strong. The dragon stayed close to them, small and nervous, yet brave. Its decision had been made. It would not run. It would not hide. The humans had shown that they valued life, that they could be trusted, and that their courage was greater than the threat. The dragon had chosen to face the danger with them, no longer a helpless, frightened creature, but a small part of a new shared strength. The hangar, once a quiet and fearful place, now hummed with tension and courage. Outside, the stars and alien ships threatened, but inside, humans and a tiny dragon faced the coming danger together. Trust had been built without words, and now that trust was tested. The dragon understood that this choice, this act of faith in the humans, could change everything, not just for itself but for the humans and for the galaxy watching them. For the first time the dragon felt ready. Fear was still there, but it was joined by trust, hope, and a strange, growing courage. It would face the approaching danger with humans who had proven their care. And in that shared moment of risk, the dragon knew that life could be more than fear. It could be trust, bravery, and kindness, even in a galaxy that seemed so cold and cruel. The alien ships hovered above the hangar, their lights cutting through the darkness like cold knives. The dragon baby crouched low beside the humans, muscles tense, wings ready to flap at any sudden threat. Its tiny heart pounded, not just from fear, but from the strange courage it felt inside. For the first time it was not alone. The humans around it were calm, focused, and ready to face the danger together. A sharp voice came over the alien intercom, loud and threatening. "Surrender the dragon or suffer destruction." The dragon shivered at the sound, but it did not run. The humans held their ground. Their shields glowed brighter, forming a protective barrier around the hangar. Machines hummed with energy, panels flickered, and the air buzzed with power. The dragon realized that these humans had risked everything to protect it. They were ready to fight not for territory or glory but for life itself. The dragon's instincts told it to flee, to hide, to strike first. But it looked at the humans around it and saw their patience, their care, and their bravery. They had shown it trust and kindness, and now it had a choice: to face the threat with them or abandon the only beings who had ever protected it. Slowly, the dragon stretched its wings, small claws gripping the floor. Its scales shimmered faintly, reflecting the lights of the hangar. It was ready. A beam of energy shot across the hangar, scanning for the dragon. Its wings twitched as the light passed over it. The humans did not panic. They adjusted shields, moved panels, and carefully guided energy toward the walls, creating a barrier that the aliens could not easily penetrate. The dragon watched, understanding that the humans were using their technology not to destroy but to protect. It felt a surge of trust and determination. One human knelt near the dragon, speaking softly in words it could not understand. The tone was gentle, steady, reassuring. The dragon tilted its head, sensing the calm courage of these humans. It realized that it could face the aliens without running. It could defend itself, not with blind fury, but with purpose and partnership. Slowly it stepped forward, moving beside the humans. Its wings twitched once, then folded close. Fear was still there, but it was joined by trust. The alien ships fired warning beams, slicing the air with deadly light. The humans activated more energy shields, glowing stronger with every pulse. The dragon's small body tensed, but it stayed. It could feel the humans' patience, their bravery, and their unwillingness to surrender what they had chosen to protect. For the first time, the dragon realized that courage was not just strength or power, it was also care, protection, and willingness to face danger for others. Then, without warning, the dragon flared. Its small body glowed faintly, a golden light spreading across its scales. It did not attack recklessly. Instead, it used a controlled burst of energy from its tiny body, focusing on creating a protective field around the humans. The beams from the alien ships flickered and bounced off the glowing aura. The humans watched in awe but did not panic. They adjusted their shields, guiding energy toward the alien ships while protecting the dragon. The aliens hesitated. They had never seen a dragon work with humans in such a controlled and defensive way. Their weapons, powerful as they were, could not break the combined shields and energy from both species. Slowly the ships pulled back, scanning and calculating, but unable to harm the humans or the dragon. The dragon's trust in the humans had given it strength, and together, they had formed a shield stronger than fear or aggression. Minutes passed, long and tense. Then the alien ships retreated, leaving the hangar in quiet darkness. The dragon lowered its wings, trembling from the adrenaline but feeling safe. It had faced the threat, not alone, but with beings who had shown it trust, patience and care. The humans moved toward the dragon gently, placing hands on the floor near it, offering soft words and warmth. The dragon stepped closer, no longer hiding, no longer trembling with fear. For the first time, the hangar was not a place of shadows and worry. It was a place of safety and trust. The dragon had learned that kindness existed even in the galaxy, even among humans it had once feared. It had learned that trust could be built through patience and care, and that courage could exist without violence. The humans had risked everything to protect it, and in return the dragon had joined them as a small, brave ally. Outside the hangar, stars shone distant and cold, but inside, life had changed. The small dragon curled near the humans, scales glowing faintly in the dim light. Machines hummed softly, lights flickered gently, and the air was calm. The hangar, once a place of fear, had become a symbol of trust and partnership. Word of the event would spread across the galaxy. Humans had faced a threat not with anger but with courage and kindness, and a dragon had chosen mercy because of them. The dragon looked around at the humans, eyes wide with understanding. It had hidden, it had feared, and it had doubted. But now, it had learned something no story had ever taught it. Some humans were brave not because of power but because of compassion. And that compassion could change the world. The hangar had changed history, not through battles or destruction, but through trust, bravery, and a tiny dragon who had found a place where kindness truly lived. The dragon stretched its wings one last time, not in fear but in freedom. The humans smiled gently, watching the small creature glow with warmth and courage. Together they had faced a threat, survived, and proven that life, trust, and kindness were more powerful than fear. The hangar was no longer just metal and machines, it was a home, a safe place, and a symbol of hope for the galaxy. The dragon settled down, calm and safe. The humans returned to their quiet work, their careful movements unchanged but stronger in purpose. Outside, the stars continued to shine, distant and cold, but inside the hangar, trust, courage, and kindness had made a new history. A small dragon, once afraid, had learned that some humans were worth believing in, and the galaxy had witnessed it too.